Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this evening in the UK, and I think morning in the US, we're joined by Rafik Miral,
Mera,
based in Dallas, USA, Texas. And we're going to have a little chat about business, entrepreneurship, giving, philanthropy, all that sort of thing. And how are you doing today, Rafik, UK?
beautiful. Another beautiful day in paradise, my dear friend. How's everything going on the other side of the pond?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm living my best life at the moment. I'm really, every day is what I love to do, which is socialize with people, get to know them, see how I can help them. I'm doing that through podcasting, YouTubing. So I'm on a mission to become a global speaker. I want to be, the Brian Tracy or the Jim Rohn or the Dr. John DeMartini from Wales. Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
my mission. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, and obviously you've got a business called Fragrances, but you do a bit of philanthropy and a bit of real estate and other things as well. So for my
That's
audience and for my viewers, etc., tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do altogether.
beautiful. My name is Rafiq Meherali. They call me King Raf. I was born in the beautiful country of India. India is my mother. America is my godfather. I've been blessed to be living the life of God's wish and God's grace. I'm in the fragrance industry. I import, export name brand perfumes from around the world. I supply to discount fragrance stores, websites, online accounts, chain stores, and stuff like that. I also dabble in some real estate in the United States. I also have restaurants and business in this part of the world. Just living my best life, my friend. Just living full of gratitude and grace, and trying to be the best Raf I can be on a daily basis.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's I'm big into personal development and personal empowerment, and for me, it's all about developing and becoming and being the best person that you can, and not just the best person for you, but the best person for humanity. The best person that you are possibly able to be. And until you get to that point of, you can't develop any further, which is impossible. But until you get to that point, you should keep on that journey of development and improvement and seeing where it takes you.
100%, 100%. Constant and never ending, brother. That's what it's all about. Kani, constant and never ending.
Yeah.
Development, information, knowledge, and it all comes from self-check. We've talked about in multiple podcasts in the past. It comes from self-check. If you can keep checking yourself and you can keep adjusting yourself to the 2 millimeters of average, you're going to be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea you can understand with your own mindset that what you give up. Like today, talking to you is a big responsibility. It's just not coming on a podcast and talking about it. Is what kind of value do I bring it? Do you have the ability to present? Do I have the ability to produce? Do I have the ability to give value? My friend. I just can't just show up and say, Mike, my blah 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 blah. It's a responsibility. It's a responsibility to be responsible.
Yeah.
Because the people,
Definitely.
And that's what it is, and that comes from basically knowing where you come from and where you're going.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's having a clear why, really, why you're here and, what your business is about and what your life is about and what you're trying to achieve, and being sort of focused and targeted on that. So I actually crystallized my why during lockdown, and I've been on a mission. I've always wanted to be a global speaker, and I've always spoke, and I've been in sales and marketing all my life. So I'm a communicator. And ultimately, during lockdown, I decided I wrote a book. I've created two formulas, a happiness formula and a success formula. I created a podcast. I've done over 580 podcast episodes since April. I've done 130 entrepreneur chats, part of that 580 podcast episodes since June. And I'm on a mission to get to where I want to get to, you know what I mean? And I want to get there as quickly as possible, because what's driving me to get there is so I can help as many people as I can on the planet. And so the quicker I get there, the more time I've got to help as many people.
Beautiful, great. You are on a mission, and you're taking big chunks of it, and that's a great thing. Proud of you, my friend. Proud to know you. Proud to be aware of your presence, and God give you success in what you're looking for. Bottom line, responsibly.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm a big believer in what Grant Cardone teaches, which is all about 10x. You are capable of 10x in your life, 10x in your activity, 10x in everything. I actually 20x the sales team a long time ago, from 300 grand to 5.7 million in a 10-year period. Well, 8-year period. I was on the team for 2 years, and then I took over running the team, and we turned it into a department. And, so I 20xed a sales team in a fast growth tech startup business. And what I want to do is help other 10%ers or other people who, need inspiring to become 10%ers, but help those 10%ers get to be 1%ers or grow the 10% market, like everyone else in the personal development space, and try and make it 20, 30, 40% and not just 10%.
I might have a little disagreement on that, Mike, because see, when you talk about 10x and 20x, Greg Cardone is a great gentleman. I know him I've been knowing him for the last 10, 12 years because of the real estate angle of it. And a very loosely used term. Nothing is possible if it's 10x unless you're using technology, right? Don't get me wrong. Stay with me here, what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I'm pops. I'm old school business. I'm selling product. You know what I mean? It's very hard to be selling product. It's very easy to 10x when you're trying to sell coaching. It's very easy to sell 10x when you're personal development, but not 10x with me. It's very hard for me to 10x. It's very hard for me to 1x.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's very hard.
No, it's not. It's all about strategy, right? At the moment, right? At the moment, you're wholesaling and online selling and distributing, yeah. But you're probably just doing it in the UK, yeah. All you got to do is do the same thing in 10 countries. You just 10x'd.
Yeah, but that's easy spoken than easily done. When you are taught like a book, like you wrote a book, right? Now you told me about it, right? I'm gonna go look it up, and then once I'm this guy know what he's talking about. That I can 10x.
Yeah.
Right? You can't 10x the wholesale business when you need people, you need infrastructures, you need money, you need building. You can 10x a course. You learn somebody from a book and you can 10x that. But you can't 10x actual mom and pop business. Let's be real.
You can, you can, because like at the moment, see, you might be in one line, right, which may be perfumes, yeah? Well, you could add in beauty products, you could add in, other synergy products, and you've got 10 times the amount of products, and then you've just 10x. There's lots of different ways of 10xing. You just got to be prepared to take whatever strategy it is. But the whole principle of 10xing, I don't like 10x, right? Because 10x puts a number on it. And to me, it should be like what I'm going to be teaching in the future is infinity X, yeah? It's no number. It's just how big you want to grow. And that is very personal. It's very preferential to each individual person, yeah? But you can actually more than 10x a business, yeah? You can, like if, for example, you opened up, you times 10 your product line, and you times 10 your distribution line, and you times 10 the number of countries you were in, then actually you'd probably be more like 30x, right? Yeah. Now, actually, I was part of a company that I grew a team from 300,000 to 5.7 million in an 8-year period. That company grew to 25 million turnover in their first 10 years of trading, right? So they actually did from 0 to 25 million, which you could class as 25 million X, because it went from 0 to 25 million. 10 years later, they're at 125 million, and they're in 10 operations around the world, yeah? Because they kept growing. Huh?
Selling.
They were selling online products, tech products. They were a tech startup selling. They basically a competitor to D&B, Experian, and Equifax, a credit reference agency. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is, there is always technology. There is always a system. There's always another marketplace until you're Coca-Cola. But even Coca-Cola can grow. But Coca-Cola can't grow by 10x because there's too many places now, and it can grow only by percentage X, yeah, depending on where else it can leverage and move within the marketplace. But until you're like literally everywhere, then you can double, triple, quadruple, 10x, 20x, 30x. It's just about how you utilize people. I got a success formula which is called streams. Yeah, so actually it's how you utilize systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales. And if you can actually grow all of those areas, you can grow them all by 10x themselves. You can 10x your systems. You can 10x your technology. You can 10x your relationships, have more people. You can 10x your distributors. You can 10x your efficiency. So you can actually, nearly everything in every business can be improved upon. So if you improved upon every component of everything you did by a small percentage, that would 10x the system. Yeah, you could implement technology to do something. You know, like for example, you might have packers or something, and then you could have robots packing, and then you could pack for three times as many hours in a day, and that's 3%, 3x or whatever. Like, yeah, there's all sorts of things that you can do, but you've got to be prepared to work on all of those things, understand them, you know, and grow them. And this is why I'm not massively a fan of, say, 10x putting a number on it, because you might only be able to 3x your distribution, 10x your sales, you know, 20x your marketing, 5x your distribution. You know, it depends. It depends on what different areas of your business there are. But if you think big, if you decided to have a board meeting on Monday with all your team, and you approached it in the same way Coca-Cola approached their board meetings, and thinking about, okay, who's in charge of Sri Lanka? Who's in charge of Pakistan? Who's in charge of Japan? What's the figures in Japan? What's the infrastructure looking like there? Where can we squeeze them out? If you automatically have and conducted your meetings and your strategies and your staff with a bigger mindset, you'd be operating at a bigger level. And that's what the sort of 10x principle is. It's about taking your mindset out of where you are and putting it much higher up. So you're playing a different game. It's like playing chess when you've got, say, all the pawns removed and just 5 of the killer move pieces. It's a different game. You know what I mean? You're making killer moves every time, rather than sort of moving pawns one step at a time and doing things a slower process way, like, you know.
Mindset trumps everything in this beautiful world. Yeah. But what you just said is a beautiful mindset. But somebody like me who's been on the road, who's been on the street of hard knocks, you basically are telling me a formula of going out of business. If I want to go that, I'm just being honest. Maybe I came from a train thought, because like I said, I've been on the street for 30 years. I've been in America for 33 years.
Yeah.
I've been for a minute. So
I started out doing door-to-door sales, selling double glazed windows.
Sir?
You know, I started out doing door-to-door sales, knocking doors, selling double glazed windows. Yeah.
And how's that coming along right now? That's obsolete, right?
I did it when I was 16 to 21, and the reason I got out of it is because I seen the market was drying up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was not that, right?
So I did it, but what I'm saying, I did it for 5 years, and most of the people who come and gone in that 5 years couldn't last, because they didn't have the right mindset, they didn't have the right determination, they didn't have the right attitude. Yeah.
Totally agree with you on that. Totally agree with you on that. My challenge with this, my only challenge with this is, Mike, you're one of a number who has this dream of 10x.
Yeah.
And 10x doesn't happen unless you're selling a system, unless you're selling a course.
Yeah.
Being very real with you. I don't need to be, but I'm going to be real with you, because that's how it rolls, right? 10x is great when you're spending. 10x is great when you're selling coaching, right?
No, it works just the same. I was selling a product, and like I say, we grew from no turnover to 25 million turnover in 10 years. Yeah, 125. Now that wasn't selling coaching or courses; it was selling product. It was mass market selling product to all the businesses in the UK. Yeah,
you were selling credit products where your customer base is one and everybody.
No, the customer base wasn't everybody. The customer base was everyone who gives credit and wants to do a credit check first. Yeah, the massive retail sector don't use it because they don't give credit, because they're having money in rather than extending credit. Yeah, they all, there's lots of parts of that sector, of a business sector, didn't use the product. But we actually had 100 people early on doing telesales outbound. That grew to 250 over the 10-year period. Yeah, we were literally ringing all the businesses in the UK 4 times a year, showing them the product and selling them the product. Yeah. Now, there's not many businesses doing that as an operation. So therefore, most businesses can actually 10x just by implementing a load of salespeople and training them how to sell their product.
Yeah? And maybe also a key of that business, I'm thinking, because I'm a businessman, is you had high retained earnings.
Retained earnings? What do you mean by that? What?
Super large.
Profit margin.
Yeah, you saved a lot.
No, so for the first 5 years, the business run at a loss. They didn't make any money. The
But
first
you
five years.
make money to grow your business.
Yeah, well, basically they just covered their cost. They wiped their face because they were just out there winning customers. What happened is then over time they grew the value of those customers. So they undercut the marketplace. They undercut Experian, Equifax, D&B, ICC, big companies. They undercut them a bit like cigarettes have done. A new brand will come out, they'll do a cheap brand. And then as their customers get older, they'll start putting the price up, you know, as the earning capability of their customer base goes up. Yeah. And so that's what we did in the credit industry. We got everyone used to using the product, got them used to paying a lower price. So that's the only reason they would switch and leave American companies that have been going for hundreds of years, like Experian, Equifax, and D&B. The only way they'd leave those companies is if you had to give them a reason to leave. And the only reason you could give them was to save money. So you do a cheap price, save them a load of money. They would you wouldn't be making a lot of profit then because you're actually doing it cheaper than the companies you've been around a lot longer, but then they get used to using the product and you start upping the price slowly over time until you start making a margin, a profit margin. But what I'm saying to you is strategies and growth, like for example, you could be flipping one property a year as a property developer. That's a product, right? It's a house, right? You're selling houses, right? Or you're renting them out. But you could be flipping one house a year. You could be flipping four a year, one a quarter. You could be flipping one every 2 months if you've got the build team or you've got multiple build teams. Yeah. You could be flipping, 20 a year. You could be flipping 200 a year. You could be flipping 250 door buildings a year. You could be flipping 200. Well, you find it hard to find 250 door buildings in the UK. Don't know what it's like in the US. But what I'm saying to you is, so the same strategy can be 10x depending on where you already have started off in flipping houses, and that's the same in retail or wherever. So for example, you at the moment in your perfume shop might have 12 retail units, and you might sell to 100 resellers, online shops, yeah. But if, for example, you had more salespeople, you times 10 your sales force, and then you opened up and you times 10 your shops. So instead of having 10 shops, you got 100. Yeah, 100. And then and also you grew your 100 online sellers to be in 1,000 online sellers. You 10x the business. I'm not saying I know the size of the market, whether that's possible or not, but until you've actually exhausted that as a potential, then it could be possible. And that's where the 10% can come in. The 10x is only possible if the market is big enough to be able to allow you to 10x and the other people who are in the marketplace. Yeah. So, exactly. So every situation is different, but you can't be the biggest seller of perfume in the world. So there's a perfume company out there who's probably the biggest seller of perfume in the world. They might be 10 times the size of you. So how do you take all their customers off them? How do you take their infrastructure off them? And that, if you work on that strategy, then you can 10x your business.
It's easy in theory, but if you're doing it, it takes a lot longer than my concern.
Nothing is ever easy in theory. Theory doesn't do anything. Theory just gives you information. It's only action. Action is things are easy in action.
And that is coming from somebody like me who has feathers in his hat and has been to the block a few times. What my challenge comes, that people who are starting off get exhausted when they get into the dream of 10x.
Yeah.
Before 10x, my thought again, I'm so glad we got to you, and that's why I gave you the floor to speak about this whole process.
Yeah.
And you repeat yourself your success, and I'm so happy you said that, because it seems that you also have those feathers in your hat. So my challenge was to prove this point.
Yeah.
But everybody that's an audience of yours, and my grace to be on this show, I want them to think this once. To get to 10x, you got to get to 1x first.
Yeah.
1x.
Yeah.
2x.
Yeah.
3x.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. And the thing is, 10x can be done in a year.
Now you got my point, my brother.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand. I'm somebody who don't believe in off-the-shelf. I don't believe in off-the-shelf solutions. Everything's tailored. You know, everything's tailored. So, you know, 10x as a mentality is a right mentality to get people to think big. I used to, before I met Grant Cardone and listened to him pitching 10x, I used to just say, think big, because it's only by thinking big can you overcome big problems.
Respect on that. I want people to think big, but I want to start exactly. I just want to add my 1,0,0,0 point King Raf snip to it. Think big, start working small.
Yeah. Well, you know,
small, your dream will never get too big.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would disagree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
With that. I think if you're only capable of working small, then work small. But you should develop yourself into somebody who's capable of thinking big and working big, and that comes through personal development and business development. So that would be the caveat that I would have: is if you're capable of more, push yourself to whatever you're capable of.
Mr. Armstrong, how many chapters does your book has?
So my book is about 10 chapters, I think, something like that. It's about 30,000 words.
Beautiful. Do I need to read one chapter at a time, or do I need to read 10 chapters at a time?
I actually haven't published it yet. Yeah. So there's a reason I haven't published it, is because it's my life.
Copies. That's
it's my life story. It's my life story, and until 8 years ago, everything in my life went like that in like a fast trajectory. Yeah. 8 years ago, I got chewed up and spat out by the global credit crunch. Well, in 2008, so that was 12 years ago. But it culminated in me getting divorced 8 years ago. Yeah, and there's some delicacies in my book, if you like, which I've written about, because it's a warts and all honest version that I've got to okay with my ex-wife before I publish it. Respect. So I wrote it in lockdown. You just turned your video off, Raf.
No, I'm getting calls in.
Okay, that's fine. So basically, I wrote it in lockdown, but obviously I haven't been able to go and spend the time with my ex-wife because, you know, we don't get on the best anyway. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And so I've got to wait politically for the right time to be able to chat about what's in the book, to be able to see what I can and can't say. Yeah. So I'm in a bit of a political situation. So because I couldn't publish my book, I wrote it at the beginning of lockdown. And because I couldn't publish my book, I also, during lockdown, come up with two formulas, a happiness formula and a success formula. Happiness is called SMART: sleep, meditation, ability to perform, which covers exercise, hydration, and nutrition. Random acts of kindness, and targets. It's called SMART. And I got a routine that'll make everyone happier if they follow it, yeah? Because it's doing 100% of what makes them happy, and not just 60, 70, 80% like most people are doing. Yeah, they're missing the last 10, 20, 30%. And then I got a stream success formula, which is systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales. If you do success on its own and you haven't got happiness, then lots of people do that. It's called, you know, the workaholic entrepreneur who haven't got nothing in their life. They're just successful. Yeah. And they burn out a lot of the time and die young a lot of the time. But if you actually combine the SMART with the streams, and you do SMART streams, it's what I call elite business performance, because you can be successful long term because you're holistically and healthily looking after yourself and your ability to be successful.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I agree with you. I'll look forward to your book coming out. I'll be very excited about that.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, brilliant. So the reason I'm saying that is I might have to, because of the political situation, I might have to hold the book for now, write my success formula book and my happiness formula book, and then do the other one when the dust settles a bit more, like, you know?
Got to go to the due diligence. Respect on that. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So obviously you said you're a philanthropist as well. What does that look like and take shape of in your world? Because I'm a philanthropist as well, but at the moment I haven't got the cash. So I'm because of my divorce mostly and the global credit crunch. So I mostly give knowledge. So that's why I created my podcast, because I'm sharing knowledge and I'm just helping people develop so that at some stage when I become a global speaker, I can actually then invest money into projects from people who had a hard start in life to help them on their entrepreneurial journey. But what do you do with your philanthropy? Beautiful.
Good, great question. 3 ways of giving back, I would believe, on a daily basis. I would say 4 ways. First and foremost, you got to be an awesome superstar. I believe that we all are superstars. We all are one of one.
Yeah.
We all are one-on-one and we're all superstars. We just have to act like it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The camera on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat is not on 24 hours a day.
No.
So you want to start giving back, you got to be an awesome gentleman, woman, man, child, every day. That's how you give back. You give back by being the best you can be.
Role model for everyone around you.
4 hours a day. First and foremost, you got to be a role model for yourself.
Yeah.
Be a role model for yourself.
Yeah.
That's the back. You be a great gentleman. You be a great lady. You be a great mother. You be a great father. You've already done enough. Second, biggest important thing is money. You got to give back money, finance. Third, most important thing which you said, and I respect madly about that, is knowledge, wisdom. Knowledge and wisdom is priceless. Information everywhere.
Yeah. But the best knowledge is priceless. So I only learn off the best people on the planet in the areas I want to be the best person on the planet in. Yeah. And ultimately, it's no point learning off people who haven't been where you want to get to. You've got to learn off the people who are where you want to get to.
I don't judge that pedestrianly. You know what I mean? That God's given me a brain, and God's given you a brain, and God's given you some intelligence. We got to use intelligence. I'm not here to judge people. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm just going to accept people who they are. Yeah. And then we got smart enough to accept what we need to. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm expecting what you're teaching me, right? Yeah. So that's already said, Mike. That's already been taken care of, right? So we're going to take the best from the best people in this world and apply it to our life. And we're going to make a better people. Now, that's not my judgment of you, sir. And I hope that's not your judgment of me or the 7 billion people in this world. Yeah. Right, brother? Yeah. So we take that knowledge and we apply it, the good knowledge, and that becomes wisdom.
Yeah.
Money, time, self-check, knowledge. 4 ways of giving back.
Yeah.
To each his own.
Yeah.
To each his own, brother. I cannot decide, did you give 20 pounds to this charity, or did you give 20 pounds to the alms chair or the poor people? You got to do your own, my friend. But it starts with you.
Yeah.
And the best thing I know you can do without spending the 3 is being a good person. So let's all start giving back to humanity, my friend.
Yeah.
God has given us the hierarchy, whatever you believe in, has given us a great sign with COVID.
Yeah.
To look within ourselves, my friend.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we all have all this beautiful thought process. Why? We are the same people we are in 2019, Mike. You're the same person. You know what I mean? You came out better. Why? Because all of a sudden, you have this thinking that what is not right.
Yeah.
The right is right there, my friend.
Yeah.
Why do you and I feel the same thing?
Yeah. Well,
why
because
we are worlds apart?
Because humanity at this moment in time, in my view, humanity at this moment in time is more divided than it's ever been on a lot of situations. And the world and humanity needs people who are going to start bringing people together and not splitting them up and dividing them. So this is why I think people who are of that mindset and of that philosophy have seen the human race under attack, if you like, the human race under attack by an outsized force. Who knows we're under attack? It's only what the media says. So, that's another subject. But as far as the media are concerned, the human race is under attack. And I think the people who have the ability to fight back, either because they're mentally strong, they're educated, they have time or whatever, they have skills. The people are like, well, I'm not going to just sit here and watch, humanity be destroyed by a virus or whatever, or by infighting or upheaval or riots or protests or whatever. People like us who are, in the middle, if you like, in the grey area, not on the black and the white side of life, but in the grey area. We actually are all pulling together. I'm meeting loads of them on my podcast and on networking events and whatever. And we're all sort of like, okay, how do we make a difference? How can we, fight, collaborate, join together to get this message out there that, we're much better together and stronger than we are, divided and split, etc.
Beautiful. I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I have one little disagreement. I believe that the world today is more one than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yes, the silver shadow of this ugly cloud of the undivide by these different groups of who's trying not to make sure the world is not together because of political unrest. It's been there for years, and we're not going to talk about political and religion,
No.
right? But as human beings, I feel more connected to any of my brothers and sisters around the world than I ever,
Yeah, but
you
I
know.
think the entrepreneurs, that middle ground is very well connected and more connected globally now than it ever has been since the pandemic. Yeah, because we're all fighting together for the same cause and we're all pulling the same direction. I think, and I think that maybe the pandemic was sent, you know, to let people change their perspective and stuff, because a lot of the infighting during the pandemic, the black and whites and the protests and the masks and not masks and all of that, that's still happening. And it was happening a lot, you know, in the UK and in Europe. It was Brexit, it was Britain leaving Europe, and
Yes,
in
sir.
America it was the wall, you know, and building the wall and that. So I think we were very, very divided as a race. But I think, yes, since the pandemic and everyone actually being focused together, there's still the extremes on either side that are still having those fights. But a big chunk of people in the middle are actually saying, you know what, as humanity, we all just need to, you know, globalize, use technology, get
We,
together, be moderate, and stick together. So I think we're
yes,
still going through that transfer at the moment. But I'm talking about before the pandemic and the changes that
yes,
have come in. I don't think
yes,
we've ever been as divided, you know, on certain issues. Countries, you know, before people used to listen to people and take their point of view, but it's like, you know, I'm on the black side, you're on the white side, you're wrong, I'm right. You know, I'm on the Brexit, you're on the stay in, I'm on the out. There's no middle ground. It's either you're wrong, I'm right.
yes,
And I
sir.
think what human beings need to do is listen to each other more, understand each other more, and see things from, you know, there is no right. There's no right and wrong. There's not black and white. There's not a face mask, not face masks. There's not in Europe, out of Europe. There's no right and wrong. It's just a choice. Yeah, and you can actually, you don't have to be one side or the other. You can sometimes do a middle ground. Sometimes you can tip a little bit to the left. Sometimes you can tip a little bit to the right. You know, and just because you think something, it doesn't mean the other person who thinks something different is wrong. It just means they think something different. Yeah, and we
Yes,
need to build that sort of skill set and understanding in the human race that are people are entitled to their own opinion, and just because yours is different, it don't make them wrong.
a responsibility added. One more. Let's stay on the same thought process.
Yeah.
So you said that there's three sides of it, right? There's a right, there's a left, and there's a middle, which is us.
Yeah.
So why don't we intellectual people, not saying that these two people are not intellectual, let's start taking a little more responsibility like we already have. Let's start pulling these two sides to the middle.
Well,
And
you
I
know,
think
funny you said that. Funny you said that, because I was on a call yesterday with a chap who's actually implemented. He's a doctor, ex-doctor, and he's been retired during this time. And he's actually implemented courses and training. He wants to get people to train differently, because, like in the US and in the UK and that, people are educated by teaching them facts. And so with a fact, you either you either know the fact or you don't. So you're either right or you're wrong. Yeah. But actually he wants to bring learning into like a debate, really. So it's not about a fact of, you know, whether you know something or you don't know. It's not. It's about actually listening to other people's point of views and knowing all the facts, and not just being one side and the other, but actually understanding the whole situation. And he wants to bring in training to help with that. So I'm going to probably help him. I've helped him with a bit of strategy and stuff as well. But yeah, I think the middle ground need to, if you like, because I think the middle ground is more intelligent and more educated, which is why they see all the angles and all the perspectives and stuff. And the people on the sides and in the extremes, unfortunately, they are uneducated. They're people who they're told something and then that's what they believe, and they'll fight for it, like, you know. And what they just sometimes need to be done is told, well, you know, all that stuff you were told, you know, it's right, but there's also other people who've been told this, and that's also right. And there's other people who got, you know, been taught this, and there's all new stuff changing all the time. And sometimes we can add stuff to it as well. And they just need to be able to be a bit more creative, to be able to see beyond the basic information they were taught as a child or growing up. And then once they left school, they didn't want to continue their learning on, which is why they stopped where they are. And people like us in the middle, who are entrepreneurs, we've understood that we've got to keep developing, keep moving on, which is why we see a bigger part of the picture.
Makes sense. Makes so much sense. And just have to be open-minded. We just have to understand where we come from, and we got to keep questioning our thought process.
Yeah.
And we do that. That's the system I kind of follow because of the education my parents have given me, and this beautiful country has given me. I keep checking myself to make sure that I kind of know that I am on the right side.
Yeah.
And once I kind of figure that out, I do not negotiate with myself.
No. No, but
But
the thing is, the world is ever changing faster than it's ever changed before, right? In this pandemic, the world shifted 30 years in pace in lots of things, yeah, just because everyone was forced to do something like that. So what happens is, how can anyone ever think that they're right or they're wrong about something? Because all they're going on is the information they've learned, and what they've got to understand is the information is forever changing. So how can you be right and wrong? How can you literally argue with someone, I'm right, you're wrong, when actually the facts are forever changing?
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Got to be open-minded and got to keep pivoting. The key word here is to pivot.
Yeah.
We all have to be open to be pivot. We can't be rigid. And I think information and intellect and an open-mindedness will help you do that. And a lot of people are exhibiting that in the free world today.
Yeah.
A little pessimistic about a few things. And by now you already found that out, because I want to warn my brothers and sisters globally, because this is not a new concept to me. You know, I mean, I'm a citizen of the world.
Yeah.
I happen to be in America. That's how I'm raising my children. Right? Like I told you, I was born in India. India is my mother. America is my godfather. I'm being blessed. I'm a citizen of. I've never faced any racial profiling because that's my mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I pray to God it never comes down to it where it becomes a situation where I have to be compromised. But at the same time, I have to understand, I have to keep an equilibrium to keep going. And I pray to God that I'll be able to deal with it. Yeah. But it's a mindset. I don't look at you any different than me, right? My dear brother, when we had this communication started, when we were introduced to yourself, you're another intellectual gentleman on the other side of the world, but that's just another side of my world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we keep working, we keep pivoting, and we keep growing. My information, again, I keep reiterating at the same time every time I do a podcast, is to my brothers and sisters who are fighting a battle a little stronger than yours and mine. Please, please believe. Please believe. Please believe.
Yeah.
And again, I come back to the same thing. 10x is possible.
Yeah.
3x is possible. And it all works small. You can think superstars. We all have reached here because of superstar. Mike, if you think back to your childhood and where you started from, I'm pretty sure that you're pretty satisfied with where you are. Maybe not where you're going, but you could always look at it and say, dude, where did I start from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm obsessed about England and how you guys live and childhood in any country in the world, like Italy or England or any big country of the world.
Same as me, yeah. I love finding out about people, which is why I'm able to think about other people's point of views, because I love cultures and different perspectives of life, and I love my own different perspectives. I like moving and living from a different part of the city and stuff, because you see different people and different angles of a city, and you know, if you're willing to embrace change and you're willing to embrace others, then and you're willing to, you know, like I love traveling, I love trying cultures and foods and all sorts. And if you want to have a conversation with people and from all over the place, then all of a sudden you'll start seeing different perspectives, and then those perspectives come into your own perspectives. It don't mean that they'll change the way you see things, but they'll just allow you to see a bigger picture of more situations and more experiences. And then what people get, you know, a lot of the time is fear. You know, people are frightened of the stuff they don't know, whereas if they embrace the stuff they don't know, then there's no reason to be frightened, because, you know, as a whole, most people and most countries are very civil and lovely people. Yes, there's a bad lot everywhere, but, you know, you just got to avoid those whenever you can.
Mike, which part of England were you raised?
So I'm actually from Wales, so but I got an English grandfather and an Irish grandmother as well. So I'm already a little bit different than the average Welsh person or English person or Irish person, because I'm a mixed race Brit, if you like. You know, I'm a Brit. A lot of people from Wales, because it's a Valleys sort of mentality, small community and that, they see themselves as Welsh because they're small-minded, small thinking. Whereas I already, because of my grandparents, really, my parentage, I already see myself as British and not Welsh anyway. I love Wales and I'm Welsh patriot, but I'm also part of a collaboration of other countries pulling together to be bigger and better together, like the United States, all states pulling together rather than just being, if they were 52 individual states, they'd be nothing on the global basis. But because they're the United States, they're like a world leader on the global basis. And that's what demonstrates pulling together rather than pulling apart. That's what happens. You can become a world leader and not a nobody.
That's a beautiful thing about this beautiful country of ours. I mean, it's one nation, and it can sound and it can look different, but we are marching on one drum beat. Yeah, I mean, we have some challenges from time to time, but it's one nation. It's one nation. I got you there, 100%. Kudos to that. Kudos to that recognition right there.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, to me, soon, with the way technology's going, we're going to have a global currency. We're going to have a global language, because it's English, unfortunately, to everyone else who speaks something else. But the English language, I think, will win out, right? And because everyone learns it everywhere else in the world. And in the English language countries, they don't learn so much, Chinese or whatever, the other battling languages. So in the future, there will be English as the main language. There'll be Bitcoin or whatever currency as a global currency. There'll be, more, the global police squad and the global, just like UN and the world, all of that. That's how I think how the future will be in the future. And we'll all just be one nation pulling together.
Makes so much sense. I agree with you. It's a little longer than we would think, but good.
Oh yeah, it won't happen in our lifetime, but it's where the world is going. It's what will happen at some point,
Yes.
But I got a networking event to go to, so I've given you the 45 minutes I normally do, because you come on a little bit later. We had a bit of problem getting on, and we had a great chat. So at the end of the day, I do lots of networking events. I can miss one every now and then, but I think I'll jump in now, and then they won't have missed me. They'll just add me to a room, because they do a lot of breakout rooms. But yeah, that's a speed networking with a guy called Gerard Solution Hammond.
Okay.
Speed networking, and that's in the States, but it's people all around the world as well. So you want to jump on that at some point. It's on a Thursday evening, something like 7 till 9. So I've missed half hour, but I'll jump on it now. But I'll give you the 45 minutes. I would have liked to have stayed on for an hour and a half, because I know we would have had a good conversation. But us philanthropic entrepreneurs, they're the people I tend to be attracting on my podcast and and on my YouTube, etc. Because a lot of those people like ourselves who are globalists, who are looking to collaborate and work with other people, we're all online at the moment on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on online events, meeting people and resonating with each other, because we're all looking to do the same thing, I think, which is just give back to humanity, educate people, help people, collaborate, and they're the people that I'm mixing with and meeting, and you're another one of them. So I look forward to stay connected with you on LinkedIn and Facebook and those sort of things. Tag 100%. Me in on anything and I'll share it. I like helping people, so tag me in, and if there's anything else you want to talk about on the podcast, again, let me know. I want to build relationships with people, not just get them on my podcast, end it there and move on, sort of thing,
No, 100%, Mike. Thank you very much for giving me this platform. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we all superstars, my friend. We just have to appreciate ourselves. Just be kind to ourselves. Love each other. Love yourself. Love yourself. Look within. Look what you bring to this world and maximize. Yeah. One of one, all superstars. King Raf loves you. Have a great day, brother.
Nice one.
Bye, buddy. Thank you.
Brilliant. Right, nothing else left to say other than have a great day. I know I will. And thank you very much for listening. Cheers. Bye-bye.